All right, so here we have fresh rhubarb. What you're gonna want is sugar and water as well. We will be doing a heavy syrup. I know, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the new candies people have been making, which is rhubarb ribbon. And these are just going to be little chunks of candy. My mother-in-law gave us some of these that she made about 7 years ago, I want to say it was. So it's going to be a heavy syrup that we'll make with the rhubarb and dipped in citric acid for the sourness. All right, let's get started. All right, so we actually ended up having to switch the knife out. Don't use a serrated knife, not a regular one. Here's the bowl of rhubarb. And like I said earlier, we're going to do heavy syrup, so which is a 2-to-1 ratio, so 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water. In this case, I have 2 cups of water right here, so I will be doing 4 cups of sugar. Alright, so now we got that on, I'm going to go start getting this heated up on the oven. We'll be back when it's heated. I'm just going to put it in our heavy syrup mixture. Okay, please don't splatter. Oof. Alright, and let this cook for probably about 10 or so minutes until they're somewhat translucent. Honestly, we do this also, something similar during the holidays. We do citrus and candy it. So this is what it reminds me of, actually. So I'm going to see how translucent I can get this and go from there. And I'll let you know the time once we get on that, but it's average about 10 minutes from the start once they're submerged. Alright, see you guys in a bit. It did take about 10 minutes for this. You can see some of the skins fell off, so I'm going to try to not get too many of them. But as a lot of you may have seen before, normally it's put in the oven to dehydrate. I'm actually just going to use my dehydrator since it's what we got. And it's about almost 10:30 at night, so for us, using the oven's not really an option since we have Damien asleep right now. And also, my mother-in-law did use a dehydrator, she said, when she did this, so definitely pick which one you'd like to use. Brandon's showing me a quick trick how to get the last of this because I'm not very good at that.
Stir it really quick, and then just go the opposite direction.
Okay, so what he said, for anyone that couldn't hear, he said stir really quick and then scoop the opposite direction of the way you stirred.
Helps get all groups them all together.
Yeah, he said it helps group everything together.
Last stuff that's in there is just the skins. That's the last of it.
Yep, so that's just the skins, and now we got this cleared out, and we'll be showing you how to make candied walnuts next. So we got the dehydrator on and we set it to 135 Fahrenheit and 58 degrees Celsius, and that is for the fruit and vegetables. Yeah, so we will be checking on this tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow with a candy update.
Okay, one thing you can do when you have the leftover syrup of anything you pretty much trying to candify, in this case rhubarb, is a good use for it is making candied walnuts. And this is the walnuts we got from our food bank, so we're very fortunate enough to get these. But if not, we find people on Craigslist that sell walnuts that we shell ourselves. But for sake of simplicity, we're going to use these today. All you do is keep while it's still hot and the syrup's still warm. You just add your bag of walnuts to it and let them soak for a few minutes. Just try to get them nice and coated. And you're going to want these to soak for about under low heat for about 10 minutes. That way these get nice and covered and infused with the flavor of the syrup that you're using. And like I said, in this case, is rhubarb. And when you're done, we're just going to spread it on top of our little silicone sheet here and let it dry out on the counter overnight. And in the morning, you just break it open and you'll have some nice, delicious candy walnuts you can add to trail mix, snack on their own. They're delicious. But I'm going to let these cook for a minute and I'll see you in a few minutes. Now that the walnuts have been sitting here cooking for a few minutes, it's time to strain them and get them out. And this is just one of the many uses you can use the extra syrup for. You can even save your extra syrup from candying fruits and veggies to use as like toppings for ice cream or using it as for like sweeteners. Because the big thing Shiloh and I like to do is not waste anything. I would hate to take this stuff and just throw it away. And these walnuts are going to make for a great healthy snack. There we go. Using that swirling motion to kind of bait all the pieces together. Okay. There we go. Now we just gotta let this cool to get all the sugars to harden up, and then it'll be ready to snack on. Okay. Last possible use we have for this is taking the last of the simple syrup here and just turning it into straight rock candy. So, okay. So the three things we need is more sugar, cornstarch, baking powder. I'm no expert at this. I've read a little bit online, but hoping to make it work this time. You just 1 cup of sugar. Bring it up to temp. And we want to cook it until it starts to bubble. And that's when it starts to caramelize. But gotta keep stirring so you don't overcook the sugars. I'm gonna add a little bit of cornstarch. It kind of just acts like a thickening agent. And really stir it in there because this stuff likes to clump up. You want to get all those clumps out. I probably should have put this through a sieve, but you know, lesson learned.
Alright, so what's your favorite Rhubarb Candy so far?
Definitely oranges. They were the first and the most popular one we've done because we do those for Christmas baskets every year for Christmas. The wife, well, you and I both make gift baskets for everyone out of homemade foods, which usually is something been candied fruit, chocolate pretzels, um, homemade jerky and meat sticks, and smoked cheese. And every year we try to add more things. And last year we did lime and grapefruit. Grapefruit turned out okay. Limes were pretty good, really good actually. But oranges are probably gonna be my favorite.
Don't forget lemon.
Oh yeah, I do. I didn't forget them. I kind of fall in the same category of being really good, but orange is probably the top tier.
With chocolate.
Yeah. So just keep stirring this. So I want to get all this extra moisture out. So you can see the mixture is starting to get a lot thicker. I've been stirring this constantly for about 20 minutes. It is a lot of stirring. But one thing I read, the way to tell that it's done is you take some of the syrup, you get a cup of ice water, and you just take some of the syrup and dribble it on top of the ice to quickly cool it. And take one of the pieces, and if it's hardened and it's done, you can see this is not quite hardened yet. It's still very pliable, so it just needs a little bit more time. So probably about another 5-10 minutes, and we'll do the test again, and hopefully it'll be ready. So see, it's getting harder now, but let's see if I can do this. Hard part is the sugar sinks, so kind of want to catch it. There you go. Yeah, that's a lot harder now. It's a bit more firm to the touch. So, which means this stuff is about ready. So, all I've left to do is add about about 1 teaspoon of baking powder. That's going to help fluff it up when I pour it out. There, see all that? How it's getting that nice foam. That's what we want. And now that it's ready, we're going to take it and pour it into our pan here. Highly recommend silicone. If not, use a well-used pan. If not, you're going to be fighting this thing forever trying to break it out of the pan when you're done. Now it's balanced because I don't want it pouring over the edge, and this is not the most level thing in the world. We are going to let this sit overnight, and then we'll break it open. So tomorrow morning you'll be looking at our candy, our candied walnuts, candied rhubarb, candied walnuts, and candy. I'll see you guys in the morning.
Well, good morning. We are now ready to check on the candy and get this turned off. So, my mother-in-law told me the reason she coated this in citric acid is even after it's drying, it's still pretty sticky, which you can actually kind of tell. It's definitely sticky. So, I'm going to get a bowl real quick and get some citric acid poured in so we can put that on it. Just poured some citric acid in a bowl, and now we're just going to take the candy and coat it. And that's all I'm gonna do. You guys can't see that very well. And that's all I'm going to do with them, is just coat all of them. Should I give him a piece?
Sure.
Damien. Should we leave some without the sugar on it, or the citric acid?
No.
Your mom said citric acid, and I wonder if she meant sugar. I feel like that's extremely sour.
She definitely did citric acid.
She did?
And the other stuff she did was very sour.
Like this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, good.
Another piece, buddy?
You think he'll like it with the citric acid on it? Try that one. That's mostly going to be for you then. Wow. But I haven't really had any sour stuff since before I was pregnant, huh?
I say you can do some with powdered sugar.
I think I will. So I could do this last bit with powdered sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
You want more? Anybody?
For the last bit. Just because Damien's not too big of a fan of it. And I haven't had anything sour since before I was pregnant, and that was a little much for me as well. Totally think I overdid it on the sugar.
Don't worry about nothing.
No. There. I forgot another bowl to put those in. Hang on, buddy. Okay. Hey. Oh, thank you. As you can tell, guys, Damien so far likes the rhubarb candy by itself, and he just gave me a spoon so I'd feed it to him. Here, buddy, you want to try this? Try this one. Yeah, that's fine.
Damien.
Everyone, as I said earlier, the citric acid ended up being a little too sour for Damien and I, but there it is. And
Still
then
really good though.
there's the powdered sugar one. And Brandon will be up next showing you the walnuts next.
Okay. Next up is the candied walnuts. As you would let them sit and dry overnight. They got this nice sheen, and they got nicely lightly coated with the rhubarb simple syrup, and they taste really good. Got still have the hint of that rhubarb flavor. And all we're gonna do, simply take it, just fold it over, get a little Tupperware, and start pouring it into our Tupperware. Yep. And this will be good for snacks, trail mix. And if you want, you can take some of that extra powdered sugar that's left over and just lightly sprinkle it. Put in the Tupperware. Shake a little bit. If you want just a little bit more sweetness to it. Yeah. That's all that for the candy walnuts. Now we're going to take a look and see how our candy turned out. Okay. Yeah. So, I think I screwed up on the candy. Don't think I let it caramelize long enough because it's still a little tacky and stretchy. It's not like hard rock candy right now, but it still tastes really good. So, what we're going to do with this, even though it's not like hard rock candy, is I'm going to take our cutting board, make sure all it has is powdered sugar on it, and take some and dust it just a little bit with powdered sugar on top. Just enough so nothing sticks. Now I'm going to take our candy and flip it over. And it just comes right off. Take some more powdered sugar and just dust it. This does is helps prevent it from sticking to each other. Now we take our knife and we're just going to try to cut this thing into little squares. So we cut these into little squares. They're perfect bite-sized pieces. I will cut the rest of this off camera because this will take a hot minute. But that's pretty much the idea about it. So we're going to put this in another Tupperware as well, coat it with powdered sugar so it doesn't stick. And that way we don't waste any of the simple syrup we made earlier.
Here is the end result. We got the candied walnuts, the taffy candy, and just the candy rhubarb and citric acid, and powdered sugar. Thank you for coming and watching our video today. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great one.